Muy buenos días a todas y todos ustedes. Nos complace mucho estar esta mañana aquí en la Biblioteca Mexicana de la Fundación Miguel Alemán para celebrar la Cátedra Miguel Alemán de Excelencia Turística, que en esta ocasión estará a cargo de la señora KARINE, presidenta mundial de SCAL International, y que, como ya ha sido tradicional desde que se estableció este programa de turismo en la Fundación, se celebra cada año. Agradecemos mucho la presencia de nuestros muy distinguidos invitados el día de hoy. Les voy a pedir, si son tan amables, de presentarse para que doña KARINE sepa quiénes estamos. Empezaré por su servidor, Alejandro Carrillo, director general de la Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Miguel Torruco, secretario de Turismo del Gobierno de la Ciudad de México.
Buenos días, Nigel Pilkington, Director, SCAL International.
Muy buenos días, María Antonieta Ortiz, del Consejo de Promoción Turística de México.
Muy buenos días, Jacobo Husky, de la Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Antonio Vargas, de la Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Jean Berthelot, vice-président du comité de tourisme de la Fondation Allemande.
Karine Coulanges, présidente SCAL International.
José Llové, de la Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Erica Moore, Head of Latin America for Travelport.
Juan Noriega, de la Fundación Miguel Alemán y Secretaría de Turismo.
Moisés Saba, de la Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Luz Elena Cabrera, Executive Secretary of Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Buenos días, Armando Ruiz Galindo, Fundación Miguel Alemán.
Muy buenos días, Antonio Martínez Salinas, representante IATA en México.
Pues para empezar, queremos en nombre de la familia Alemán, del presidente de la Fundación, licenciado Miguel Alemán Velasco, y del patronato de la misma, darle la más cordial bienvenida a KARINE, y le voy a pedir al vicepresidente del programa, don Jean Berthelot, que a partir de aquí tome la dirección de del evento. Por favor, sí. Digo, para…
¿Podemos empezar la plática o…
No, yo creo que es bon appétit.
Bon appétit.
Sí. Y en…
Pero habrá cuando vosotros van a comer.
Buen provecho.
Lo que yo quería es que explicaras en qué consiste la cátedra y por qué el comité pensó en KARINE. Eso sí lo pudiera decir.
Muy bien. No, como ustedes saben, tenemos la Convención Mundial, Congreso Mundial del SCAL en México, con el hotel sede que es María Isabel. Es un gran honor porque estamos en muchísimos países alrededor del mundo, que se escogió a México este año para tener el Congreso Mundial, que empieza este domingo hasta el próximo jueves. Entonces, KARINE nos hizo el placer, como hace muchísimos viajes todo el año, conoce todos los picudos del turismo a nivel mundial y aceptó con su programa, que es muy cargado, de dar una plática. Yo no conozco, francamente, no conocemos lo que va a decir. Es lo bonito del día. Es una sorpresa. Pues, buen provecho, buen apetito.
So I can do it now when you are
No, quand on aura fini.
Okay. I hope I will still have some power.
Bon appétit.
Bon appétit.
Prenez un peu de…
Oui, volontiers.
Is this your first visit to Mexico?
My second one. I was here in May to check everything for the Congress. You know, I want this Congress to be perfecto. So I came and I visited all the different places and I made some decision. No, we don't do that, we do that. So I have been almost 1 week in Mexico.
How did you like it?
Very much. And after the site inspection, I had a chance to go to Cancun. It was the fair, a big professional tourism fair in Cancun. Yeah. And so we had a dinner with more than 200 colleagues from Mexico and around the world, in Latin America, Canada, Europe. So it was very nice. And I discovered a brand new hotel in Cancun, just beautiful. Nishuk.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Which one is it?
Nishuk? Nishuk? Yeah. Yeah. So,
How many people are you expecting to receive in this Congress?
around 500 people. Around 500 people. And also I was saying that we are expecting to relaunch a club, a skull club, who used to exist before and was, let's say, closed. And we hope to be able to relaunch it next week on Monday. It is Mérida. Yeah.
Yucatán.
Yeah.
How many countries will participate in it?
I don't want to say something wrong, but about 46 or something like that countries. Maybe a bit more. I don't have the last figures exactly. Yeah. But it will be well represented. We have people from Asia, from Africa, from New Zealand, Australia, Europe, America, of course, and Canada, because it's very near. And quite a lot of people from Europe and Asia as well. Yeah.
Any new country for school?
Yes, we had, yes, this year we had Yangon, you're right. And Nigel is the director of PR and communication, and he's also my personal assistant. So we have worked very well together, and this is why I wanted him to be with me today, because we are a good team.
I would like to tell you something while you have your breakfast. Probably you know that former President Miguel Alemán was very much interested in developing the tourism industry in our country. When he was very young, he was governor of his home state, Veracruz. Probably you've heard about Veracruz. He was the governor of Veracruz, and since the port of Veracruz is the gate to the country, tourism is a very, very important aspect in Veracruz development. Afterward, he became Minister of the Interior, what we call Secretario de Gobernación here in Mexico, which at that time was in charge of the development of tourism and the regulations of tourism. While he was Minister of the Interior, he became very close to, which was going to be, he became candidate for the presidency, and he became president afterwards. So he had been already in touch and in very direct relation with the tourism aspects of our country. So when he became president, it was one of his main programs to develop tourism activity in Mexico. He developed Acapulco, and he built the first major international airport here in Mexico City, and a network of airports through all the country, one of them being, of course, Acapulco's. Then, when he finished his tenure as president, he was invited by the next president to become the head of the National Council of Tourism, in which he worked for 22 years. So we could say that in Mexico we call him Mr. Tourism, President Alemán. So when he died, his family, his sons and daughter, established the Miguel Alemán Foundation. And one of the first programs, 30 years ago, one of its first programs was precisely in order to remember his keen interest in the tourism industry, the tourism program for the Miguel Alemán Foundation. Since then, and of course, Mr. Bertelot was part of the original committee for this program. He's now our vice president, and we're very honored to have him here with us to guide all the activities of the foundation in regards to tourism. We have two main events on a yearly basis. One is the Miguel Alemán Award, yearly award for the recognition of people who have produced or been of very direct important for the development of the tourism industry here in Mexico. And the second event, which is exactly what we are having around, it was established the Miguel Alemán Chair, yearly chair of tourism, in which the committee selects a very well-known personality, world personality, international personality that can come to our country to speak with the people that are part of the industry, of the tourism industry in Mexico. Today, we're very honored to have as special guests with you, Licenciado Miguel Torruco Marquez, which is the Secretary of Tourism of the Mexican City Government. El Licenciado Antonio Martínez Salinas, Country Manager of Mexican International Air Transport Association, IATA, and Rodolfo López Negrete, Capel, Director General of the Council for Tourism Promotion in Mexico. And of course, all the members of the Tourism Committee here in the Foundation. So we're very thankful to you for having accepted the invitation of the committee, which was conveyed to you through our Vice President. And we're very interested in having your comments and all the things that you can share with us in order for the committee members and our special guests to benefit from your presence here in Mexico. So you're very, very welcome, and we thank you for your kindness.
Thank you very much. Before I do my speech, what I prepared in Spanish, I would like to say that this year in particular, I was, maybe because I was focusing on Mexico, but because of the Congress, but Mexico has been very, very active in tourism industry. Last month in September, the country who was the guest in Paris for IFTM and Top Reza was Mexico. So Mexico was very present, and now I'm going to be a hosted buyer at the IBTM in Barcelona next month, and again, Mexico is very active. I have already received invitation to come to see Mexico, so which means you are very active. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I will need my
tablet.
Yes. Sorry for that. I can make a speech in French without any paper, but in English and and especially Spanish, I don't speak Spanish at all. So I really need some indulgence from you. If this one to come, okay. Doesn't want to go? Oops. Okay, I will do that way. So. Señoras y señores, es un gran honor y privilegio para mí estar con ustedes esta mañana en la bella ciudad de México, la capital de su vibrante país con una cultura muy diversa. Un país donde el turismo y la cultura van de la mano y los ingresos que genera esta asociación son de importancia vital para su economía. SCOL tiene una prestigiada historia en la industria del turismo y, si me permiten, me gustaría darles un breve resumen sobre nuestra organización, y lo que representa en el siglo XXI. SCOL fue fundado en París en 1934 y hoy es la asociación mundial más grande que reúne todas las ramas del turismo. Tiene más de 10.500 socios en 85 países. Los miembros de SCOL son ejecutivos que se dedican a la venta y promoción del turismo y para promover el turismo global a través de la amistad. Trabajan en todas las ramas del turismo: transporte, hotelería, agencia de viaje, tour operadores, prensa turística, organizaciones de promoción turística, atracciones, seguros de viaje y muchos más. La declaración de misión del SCOL. A través de nuestro liderazgo, nuestra profesionalidad y nuestro concepto de amistad, trabajaremos juntos para realizar nuestra visión, maximizar las oportunidades de negocios en red y desarrollar una industria turística responsable. La declaración de visión es muy simple. Declaración de visión será una voz de confianza en el sector del turismo. SCOL es muy activo en la promoción del turismo sostenible, responsable, y en 2003 creó su Premio de Desarrollo Sostenible, un programa que promueve la conservación, la gerencia sostenible del medio ambiente. Todas las empresas pueden competir y este año los premios 2014 serán presentados durante la ceremonia de apertura el próximo domingo, conjuntamente con nuestro colaborador y patrocinador Xxv Cátedra. En términos de cooperación internacional, SCOL es miembro afiliado de la Organización Mundial del Turismo, así como miembro de la Coalición Internacional de Turismo Partner. Es socio de la Institución Internacional para la Paz a través del turismo y SCOL ha firmado un memorándum de entendimiento con el Programa de las Naciones Unidas para la Educación para apoyar a los jóvenes en su camino de las universidades y los colegios hacia el mundo de los viajes y el turismo. Gracias a su red internacional, SCOL promueve las relaciones internacionales y gracias a sus congresos permite conocer nuevas culturas y estoy convencida que conocer nuevas personas fomenta el desarrollo de la paz en el mundo. Tenemos un club llamado Red BC, Bahía del Mar Rojo, que tiene socios de 3 países: Egipto, Israel y Jordania. SCOL Internacional también apoya activamente el Código de Conducta para la Protección de los Niños de la Explotación en el Turismo, el Código Mundial de Ética en el Turismo, ECPAT Internacional, y el Proyecto de Desarrollo del Turismo, Erradicación de la Pobreza. También estamos muy orgullosos de nuestro apoyo a los programas de ayuda en caso de desastres naturales como el terremoto en Haití, el tsunami asiático, las inundaciones en Australia y el reciente tifón en las Filipinas. Gracias a nuestra recaudación de fondos, hemos sido capaces de ayudar a proyectos de infraestructura en cada una de estas regiones. En términos de nuestro congreso, que se inicia en su hermosa ciudad el próximo sábado, vamos a celebrar nuestra Asamblea General Anual, un programa B2B con oradores de la industria turística mexicana y de nuestro colaborador Xxv Cátedra, quien presentará un documento sobre el lado oscuro de la iniciativa del turismo. SCOL es una organización vibrante y moderna y estamos orgullosos de ser una voz de confianza en la industria del turismo. ¿Qué mejor manera de confirmarlo por nuestros colegas que con la presentación a finales del año pasado a la Fiera World Travel Market del prestigioso Premio Mundial del Turismo por su liderazgo en el fomento de prácticas de turismo responsable en el sector de los viajes y turismo sostenible a través de su programa de premios de desarrollo sostenible, además de ser un modelo a seguir en el apoyo de comunidades que han sufrido desastres naturales. Señoras y señores, muchas gracias por la oportunidad de permitirme dirigirme a ustedes esta mañana y platicarles un poco acerca de la gran organización que es el SCOL. Muchas gracias.
We want to thank you doubly because you were so gentle as to speak to us in Spanish, which I know that it's not your original language, but this is a gesture that we really want to thank you. It's part of the feminine intelligence that we recognize as being one of the ingredients that it's very necessary for the development of social and cultural activities as well. Since we have here in the table people that are very knowledgeable about the industry and that I'm quite sure that would like to ask you specific questions and to benefit from your presence here, I would like to open now the floor for our friends here, but I would like to ask you that when you ask your questions or present your commentaries, please remember us, your name and your job, actually. So it's open. Okay.
Good morning. Welcome to Mexico. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I am Jorge Chavez. I am counselor from the foundation. You mentioned this dark side of tourism now, and my question will be about how many millions of people can travel without having negative impacts on the countries they visit.
Without having?
And negative impacts in the countries they are visiting. According to the World Tourism Organization last year, there were 7,000 millions of people traveling. That's the whole population of this planet. How do you deal with this problem? And when you refer to the dark side of tourism, is it this aspect considered in this dark side because that it wouldn't be sustainable? Is it clear, my question?
Yeah, but there are different sides in this dark side tourism. What we will have as a guest speaker, I don't know exactly what he's going to present. Do you know, Nigel, did he tell you what he's going to present? Take a microphone.
Gracias. The presentation that Diversity Care are presenting is really covers the situation where tourism makes a lot of money for communities, but there's also a side where it needs to give back to communities, and there are very simple programs available that hoteliers, airlines, and people in the hospitality industries can also help the local communities that they draw their employees from. And there's some very simple ones, and a very elegant one is used sheets in hotels. Hotels, depending on the level of hotel, how often they churn those sheets. They have developed a program where the sheets are taken and made into school uniforms for children in less advantaged areas. So there's a way in which that's a twofold thing. The children have a uniform, but also the community become involved with the hotel and the industry, and it becomes a relationship. So there's a way in which the community and the industry can work together for the growth and betterment of both.
Yeah, this is what I call tourism for development. That means that the local community must benefit from the tourism, not only the big hotel chains or, the tour operators, but we really have to have a corporate social responsibility and to make sure, because if the local community is happy, then the tourists, they will be happy as well. So.
Okay. Any other comments?
Hello. You have mentioned before that the organization is fighting the poverty. Would you give us an example or a couple of them, how the organization in many other countries are acting?
This is exactly what I just said. We help the local community to get education and to get a return on, let's say, to benefit from the local resources coming from the tourism.
Thank you.
But we do this locally, not globally.
Yes.
As a representative of a technology company, I don't know, I am also a SCOL member, but I would like to see maybe a more active participation on the technology side. Apparently not all countries are adapting and embracing technology as part of the tourism industry as fast as others.
So then Nigel will be, yes, you will be able to answer because you are working on that on a daily basis. And we have some good news to announce during the Congress.
Yes, we are working on that. It does two things. Technology enables us to meet our sustainable goals, but it is a very interesting fact. The internet causes more carbon emissions than the airline industry. So we've got to be a little bit careful sometimes with things. People talk about why should we meet together when we can do it via the internet. Two things. One, meeting together, the human spirit can't change the benefit of that. But also technology is quite polluting, so we have to have a balance. But SCUL is committed to technology, and at the Congress we will be announcing a couple of new initiatives that we're working on, and I don't want to spoil the thunder, but basically, yes, we are committed. We have a working group that for the next 4 years will do nothing more than explore the possibility. What we're trying to do is say, where is our organisation in the year 2020? It's a nice ring, 2020 sounds good. So we're allowing our organisation to dream where they want to be. We're then going to work back to try and achieve that in the next 5 years. And we're an organisation that's lasted 80 years. We want to last another 80 years, and to do so, we must adapt, but never forget our history. It's a very fine line. So to dream, but not forget where we're from, is our goal.
And for this group, we have chosen really people from different countries with different backgrounds and different skills. And I believe, and the goal was to have no past president, no member of the executive committee, and no member of the council board working on that groups. We have identified colleagues without any responsibility or title to work on this project. And I believe this will make the success, because it will be brand new ideas coming on the table.
2020 is
we will we will launch it at the AGM on Monday.
Oh,
yeah.
Very interesting.
Thank you very much, and I would like to welcome you both to Mexico City on behalf of the mayor of Mexico City, Mr. Miguel Ángel Mancera. He will be with you in the opening ceremony next Sunday, and I will be there too. And I would like to tell you something about great news about Mexico City, that this is the first time that we already have a very important award as the #1 Latin American place, most visited city in Mexico, Central and South America. And this award was given by the very prestigious magazine, the Travel and Leisure, that they have, as you know, 6 million readers, and they have a very important judge, about 70,000 a year, that they select the best places in the world. So right now we are the #1 in Latin America. This is the first time for 2014. And we already have named Mexico City as the capital of tourism, the cultural and the gastronomic affairs. Why I should tell you that? Because right now we have more than 12.7 million people visiting our city every year, which they use the hotel system. We have almost 50,000 hotel rooms, and 80% come from the different states of Mexico, and the 20% from the foreign people. We're still having our best segment come from the United States. We're talking about the almost 40%. The 33% comes from Latin America, the 20% from Europe, 5% from Asia, and 3% from Canada. So we're still growing more than 10.5%, more than the World Tourism Organization statistics that they are doing every year. So we have very important places to visit. Why cultural? Because we have 4 heritage from UNESCO, just in Mexico City, the University of Mexico, that, by the way, was founded by Mr. Miguel Alemán. And anytime that I hear about Mr. Miguel Alemán, I feel really fine, and because he was my guide, he was my godfather. And by the way, he lent me some money for my first business a long time ago. And I paid it. I swear to God that I already paid him back. And also, he gave me a scholarship to be in Cornell University. So I'm very grateful with him, with the family, and we have been together all the time since my grandfather met him, his father also, the General Alemán. And why cultural? The University of Mexico, the Xochimilco canals, the Casa Luis Barragán, just a study house from Frida Kahlo, and also the downtown in Mexico City that had been remodeled very nice, and right now it looks very pretty, and there's a lot of people that pass by and take a lot of pictures, and a good, very good remain of the old viceroyal Spanish area that we had here. But we have something that a long time ago nobody knew about. We have 188 museums. What it means? We're just behind London. We are the second city in the world with more museums. Just last year, we opened the 2 new museums, the collection of Jumex and the very huge and nice aquarium with more than 5,000 species. So we have 1,000 buildings and special points from the Viceroyal colony, 9 archaeological zones. That it means that we have a lot of places to visit. But besides that, gastronomy is very important for us. We have more than 6,000 restaurants in Mexico, which the 1,500 represents it with a tourist qualification. And according to Forbes magazine, they make a search, very important search, about 13 leaders all over the world. And the only answer that they made is in which city of the world you can eat better with a great variety of dishes. The number 1 was Paris, as you know, of course. The second one was Rome, the third one Tokyo, and the 4th Mexico City. So we have been increased a lot of publicity, like in San Peregrino's company, they already listed the 3 most important restaurants all over the world are from Mexico City. So we have a lot of things that the tourist people are enjoying very much, and we are very happy because the tourism policy with the Mexico City's mayor had been declared as a priority in his government. So it's I'm very proud, by the way, because I'm the first graduate from tourism that became Secretary of Tourism. So that's a very huge responsibility, and this is a very great opportunity also to receive the most important leaders of tourism affairs all over the world. So we welcome you very much, and I'll see you soon next Sunday with the Mayor of Mexico City. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I believe the award is well deserved. As I told you, you have so much to offer, this city, and one building that not everybody is visiting, but really has to be visited, the post office. I love it so much. It's fabulous. So I will recommend to everybody coming to Mexico City to visit it.
Well, as you have heard, we're very proud to have one of the first students of the University of Tourism that was established on behalf of the suggestion of President Alemán, former President Alemán, which has become, as you have heard, the first Secretary of Tourism that was prepared in the University of Tourism. I just was thinking that yesterday I had a friend of mine that asked me if I could reserve a room for him in one of the major hotels in Mexico. There was no way. And I was wondering, what happened? Every hotel right now in Mexico is totally booked, and I think that you're responsible for that. So I want to congratulate you.
No, there was also a big convention at the Maria Isabel Sheraton with Philip Morris. They left. They are leaving today. The hotel was full they were celebrating 75th years in Mexico City. Yeah.
Yes, because I remember when I was in Paris many, many years ago, in the what's called the Salon de l'Automobile.
Yeah.
But you cannot find rooms in Paris whatsoever. And I was also Consul General in Mexico, in Chicago, and there were several dates in which you cannot have any possibility of having a room. And now, well, Philip Morris and you are responsible for having all our hotels booked completely.
I'm happy that we are here and that it will help the economy, the tourism economy of the city.
It's broken.
Wow.
Hello again, and again, bienvenue à Mexico.
Merci.
Representing IATA, 240 carriers around the world that cover more than 85% of all international traffic in 140 countries. And also being very proud for over 15 years as an escalé. From the airline standpoint, I just want to tell you that you just said that you were just at the Postal Palace in Mexico, and we just had a ceremony 2 days ago there from the air traffic controllers entity in Mexico that had an affair over there. But my point is that, as my colleagues before in the hotel industry have said, that every single hotel in Mexico is at 80 or 90% occupancy factor. Same thing with the airlines. Most of the flights coming into Mexico City are at 85, 90% load factors. After more than 30 years of being awaiting for some news, last month it was disclosed finally the construction of the new Mexico City airport, which Mexico City, of course, is the main door for Mexico, and it is a city that deserves a big airport. We have an airport right now that handles 33 million passengers. This new airport will be able to handle in its first phase 50 million and then up to 120 million in the next 20 years. So basically, that is the information that I wanted to tell you, that Mexico is progressing also in the airline sector.
I have a question, or let's say a request, a wish for the new airport. Please make it large enough to welcome the A380, because I hate to fly on these old 747.
No, and we just had a chat with, of course, Air France. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow we are going to be celebrating 95 years of KLM, and which is part of the family. Yeah. And yes, indeed, they are desperate because they only have 7 747s left in the fleet, and they cannot discontinue those planes because they need them for these routes. Unfortunately, the A380 is not a plane that it's able to land at Mexico City Airport. It can land, but it cannot park. You know, that is the problem. Because of the span, it will take 3 gates of the regular gate. Nevertheless, Mexico City Airport, it's making improvements in one of the runways to make it wider, and in 2 of the positions. So both Air France and Lufthansa would be able to start flying that plane by late 2015.
Oh, good. So,
you know, that is good news. Because we cannot get into a stagnation, because traffic is there, and the airlines, as I said, you know, if Air France is flying at almost 90% load factor, they need a bigger plane.
But as you say, the planes are full. Almost 500 people when I arrived the day before yesterday, and it was the same, my colleague told me, the same yesterday. From Paris to Mexico, the plane was full.
Yes.
Almost 500 people.
There is no longer shoulder season. You know, it is peak season almost the 12 months of it. Mm-hmm. We used to say that September was the worst month, but you know, in September, load factor average was in the low 80%.
Oh, wow, Paris.
Which is excellent. But that tells you that the airport is almost at a saturation. We're very glad that, well, it's going to take about 6-7 years to see the new airport. In the meantime, we want to make this airport an airport that can handle any plane that wants to go. There are so many airlines also that are knocking at the door in Mexico. We have Turkish, we have Emirates, we have JetBlue, and I'm just going to the airport right now because we have a group of airlines that are doing site inspection to see how can we enhance them, how can we provide them with some best practices from other airports.
Oh, good.
Is Turkish airline coming?
They had applied for that, and we probably will see them sometime next year.
Okay. Karine, we know ecology is a very important subject for SCOL worldwide. And we are aware that SCOL has a recognition for sustainability on ecology. And we're wondering if Mexico participated in that specific contest.
We had some, I don't remember exactly, but I have to double check, but we had some people from Mexico already who applied and do the competition for the award. And so I believe some had did win or something. I have to double check. I will give you the answer, let's say, you are going to attend the opening ceremony?
Yes.
Okay, so you will have your answer. I don't want to say something wrong, so I prefer to say, you know, I double check and I'll give you the right answer.
So maybe Mexico will have a recognition.
But you should, I mean, everybody can compete, and even if you identify a company or, you know, a project that could really participate, even if this project, the owner is not a SCOL member, doesn't matter. It is not necessary within SCOL, it's a wider community. Everybody can propose their project. And we will explain he will explain during the General Assembly how it goes, and with the judges, you know, from different countries, and how it is done. It's really very transparent, let's say that way. Very good.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, as it's customary on these meetings and these events, I now would like to have the honor to present you the medal and the diploma that comes with the chair. I will go to where you are in order to present it on behalf of the Miguel Alemán Foundation.
París llegó una compra en el aeropuerto.
Tú todavía no naces. Tú de quieres firmar. Yo te digo cómo.
Karine, on peut le faire en français.
Oh yes, it's an official...
A ver si te entiende ya.
A ver si me acuerdo. Yo estaba en París en 1934, pero no asistí a la fundación del SCOL. Karine, au nom de la Fondation Alemán, de notre président Miguel Alemán, c'est un grand plaisir, un honneur pour nous de vous offrir ce diplôme en reconnaissance à votre gentillesse de nous avoir accompagnés aujourd'hui et de donner beaucoup de précisions sur l'organisation SCOL qu'on admire beaucoup.
Merci.
Donc, voilà. Lo bueno, hay una español.
Yo entiendo muy bien y hablar es muy difícil.
No, habla italiano. Hay un pedazo de papel también que vale mucho. Y eso es nacional porque es el honor de su presencia, no recuerdo, ¿no? Para ayudar a la fundación también del SCOL, que ayuda muchísimos a colegas del SCOL en el mundo. El SCOL participó como organización a rescatar un poquito a personas que están muy afectadas por el tsunami, ¿se acuerdan del desastre que hubo en Asia? Siempre participa el SCOL en ayuda. Eso es para ayudarle a su fundación. C'est un grand plaisir de vous remettre ce chèque aussi.
Merci.
Voilà pour vous. Pardon. Que ça te
Je vous embrasse à la française.
Ah, très bien.
Dos.
Et en Bretagne, dans des bienes antipasados sont très spéciales.
Un de más. Now a picture
Voilà.
with all of you, please. Oh yes, it would be nice to have a picture with everybody.
Ay, no me sales. Pero es que me sales.
¿A poco salen todos con ese?
Estoy comparados acá, ¿verdad?
Nada más. Ok, acá por favor. Ok, la última.